here for part 2 of my February reading wrap-up. And I had a really just great reading month in February. I really enjoyed everything that I read. I had some DNFs as always. I always do. And then I think that's why I'm able to read a fair amount, because then I say goodbye to the books that I'm not enjoying and not being rewarded by. Classics, I have a different kind of threshold and expectation of what enjoy means. But I'll just get into the books. So the first one I want to talk about in this wrap-up part 2 is Gentle and Lowly by Dane Ortlund. And this was an amazing book. And I had heard it talked up so much. And I think it is just for anyone who's feeling discouraged and kind of weary and like you are such a disappointment. This is tomorrow is a new day with no mistakes in it. And the mercies are new every morning. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful book about how Christ in his ministry on earth was so full and abounding with compassion. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful book. So highly recommend that book. And the next one that I read for my Patreon book club was Agnes Gray by Bronte. My only complaint with this book is the brevity of it. I think it's a very sweet, sweet book. And I do not enjoy Tenant of Wildfell Hall. I know everyone's going to come for me. But I really like Agnes Gray. And I think I just find the quietness of it somehow enchanting. I really love how you are just getting to follow the kind of mundane details of Agnes's life, because I found her as a character. I was very drawn in by her, and I wanted to get in her head and know what she was thinking. The romance in it does feel rather abrupt, and I just wanted more. So yeah, I love this book. It is just very short and sweet. So it's not lengthy at all, and I don't even know if it's 200 pages. So I really, really like it, and if you're wanting just like a little gem of a book, I think Agnes Gray is highly enjoyable. And the next book that I finished, oh my goodness, I'm so excited to tell you that I finished Ivanhoe. Can you believe it? I cannot believe that I finally read Ivanhoe. And I have to say, the whole inspiration for me wanting to read Ivanhoe was Betsy Ray from the Betsy Tacy series by Maud Hart Lovelace. And Betsy Ray, in her synopsis of Ivanhoe in Betsy in Spite of Herself, she gets the ending wrong. She tells something that happens at the end that does not happen at all. She totally gets it wrong, which is just so hysterical to me. So I was thinking, like, is it intentional? Like, the editor didn't flag it. Was Maud Hart Lovelace making it look like Betsy hadn't actually read it? Or was the editor not familiar with Ivanhoe and Maud Hart Lovelace had gotten mixed up about it? Or did she not actually read Ivanhoe? I just have so many questions now. But all to say that I really did enjoy Ivanhoe. And I did definitely have the chapters that I was like, come on, these conversations that went on and on and on. But the action sequences, I was there. And I just thought they were thrilling. And I did not know how I was going to feel about Ivanhoe, but I ended up enjoying it so much. And it was just like very much a good old-fashioned adventure tale. I'm hoping to watch a couple of the film versions. I got the DVDs from the library, and I need to get on that because they're going to expire. I got the Elizabeth Taylor and Joan Fontaine one, except though I will say, I really love Joan Fontaine. And so when I realized that Joan Fontaine is going to be playing Rowena and the character of Rebecca, I felt much more drawn to, which I love Elizabeth Taylor too, but I just kind of wanted Joan Fontaine to be Rebecca in that. But obviously the looks of Rebecca, Elizabeth Taylor, it's much more fitting. Yes, so I love that Robin Hood is a part of Ivanhoe. I had no idea. And yes, it was just so much fun. Good, like, swashbuckling adventure. And I'm really, really happy to have it checked off the list. Betsy Ray was my inspiration. I kept channeling Betsy as I went through it. There were definitely parts that I got bogged down. I will not lie to you, but it was not as hard as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be at like a 10, and I'd say it was like a 6. It was very plot heavy, and I think that helped. And now I'm definitely open to reading more Walter Scott. Maybe during Jane Austen July, I would read another, possibly Rob Roy, because let's be honest, the film with Liam Neeson looks very enticing. It just looks like such a compelling film to watch, although very intense. So maybe Rob Roy and Jane Austen July. I am not holding myself to it. We will see how I feel. All in all to say, I was pleasantly surprised that I enjoyed Ivanhoe as much as I did, because I thought I wasn't going to enjoy it. All right. Clutching my heart for this one. Paddington marches on. It's like I feel like I've been whacked by the happy mallet whenever I am listening to the Paddington audiobooks. They are just a thing of beauty. And it's really, really fun too that they are narrated either by Hugh Bonneville or Stephen Fry. Stephen Fry is definitely, I prefer him as the narrator. Hugh Bonneville is marvelous. He's splendid. But Stephen Fry is just way, way up there for me. But just Paddington is the most endearing character. And I'd say they feel a little bit kind of like Jeeves and Wooster in that there are all of these crazy scenarios that Paddington gets himself stuck into, but you know that everything is going to be okay at the end of the day. You know that everything's going to be okay, and that either Paddington will charm people or the Browns will get him out of trouble. And I can't talk this series up enough. It has just been such a treat, and I want my life to be a constant loop of listening through the Paddington books. I cannot talk them up enough. Just please, please, please try the Paddington books. And what I I'm shocked by is it's the 6th or the 7th one, and I am not tired of them, not in the least. So very excited to continue on through the Paddington series, slowly but surely, as Peter and we keep kind of balancing with other audiobooks. And the next one, I cannot believe that I'm going to be talking about that I read this. Okay, so for those of you that saw my Cozy Things chat with Chelsea from Voyage of a Time Wanderer, one of her cozy things that she talked about was Amish romances. And it was like she said this and the light bulb went on. I remembered when I moved to Pennsylvania, which LOL that when I moved to Pennsylvania, I picked up an Amish romance series. And I was going to a Mennonite high school. I was like, well, just got to read the subject material. I read this series. It's called the Abram's Daughters series by Beverly Lewis. Beverly Lewis is a very, in the Amish romance community, Beverly Lewis is very well known. And, it was just like the light went on. I thought, oh my goodness, I have to get my hands on an Amish romance series. And I was open to reading another one, but I just thought, you know what? Ooh, I don't know. What do I want to just go ahead and read Abram's Daughters again? It is a 5-book series. You're following the Ebersol family, and Abram has 5 daughters, and you're following kind of the romance and the drama of this family in their little Amish community. And what's interesting is because within the Amish community, I'm sure there is some variation kind of on how conservative or liberal the rules are in an individual group. But all of the social restraints and the lack of technology, so having to communicate through letters, really made it feel kind of Regency. Because there's one major situation that happens, because if somebody could have just had a conversation, but they sent it in a letter, and the letter is lost, and I cannot tell you how swept away I got by this series. And it's 5 books. I started on a Monday, and I had finished the entire series by Friday morning. I don't know how this happened. And if you want just a page turner, it is not going to be anything. The prose is not astonishing, but it is just some good old-fashioned storytelling. If you want high Amish drama, this series, I had an absolute blast. So I'll probably be reading something for Amish in April. I did burn myself out then because I was like, oh boy, that was a lot, but I just could not stop reading. I had to have confirmed that this one couple was going to end up together, and it takes 5 books to find out if they're going to end up together. And also, at the end of reading it, I was like, I need to go to Amish country and get like freshly made donuts and other pastries and goodies, and I just want to have like a meal with all of the starch. And there was so much food referenced, and oh, yes. So unfortunately, though, I will say, the first 4 books I gave 4 stars because I enjoyed them so much. They were all rather cheesy, but I was expecting that. I went in with that. But the issue was with the last book, when everything is finally getting resolved and everyone is getting kind of their happy endings, it got several more levels cheesy. So then that one I gave 3 stars because it was just slathering it on, like so cheesy. But I had a lot of fun, and it was totally unexpected, and it's just really fun to do that sometimes with your reading. Like, set aside all your other reading plans and just dive in and go for it with this Amish romance series. So I wanted to get it all done too before middle grade March started. I just wanted to have it like cleared out, and I did. It was an experience. And then I did read Somewhere Safe with Somebody Good. This is the 11th, I think that sounds right, in Jan Karon's Mitford series. And it has been such a delight to every month come together with Chelsea and Rainey and Angie and do a live show and talk about our thoughts on this just beautiful, beautiful series. This was my favorite book in the series yet. I don't like it when things are set outside of Mitford, and it had all of the characters that I loved. It had everything that I loved about Mitford in it, and this series has just meant so much to me to be reading through it, and I'm going to feel quite bereft when we do finish. And I usually do not like faithfully read through a series, like read one a month, but there have definitely been books in the series that I enjoyed more than others. But I was feeling really nervous about kind of this second half of the project, because when I announced it, several Mitford fans commented and said about the prior 2 books, like either, oh, I really didn't like those, or, oh, those were my favorite in the series. And then the last 3 books in the series, they said either, oh, I really didn't like those. You know, I wish they hadn't even been written. She should have left the series as it was. Or, oh, those were my favorite in the series. So I didn't know how I was going to feel about this tail end of the series. But thankfully, how me personally as a reader, I've really, really loved them. So yes, only 2 left, which is just crazy. So I guess this one was book 12 in the series. Okay, then I read Crowned and Dangerous by Rhys Bowen. And this is the 10th in the Lady Georgie series, her Royal Spiness series. And this is my second favorite in the series. Now, Rhys Bowen is wonderful at constantly launching characters, like moving them along, developing them, and launching the plot forward. And in this one, they traveled to Ireland. So it was really just nice and fresh feeling, and just having a change of scenery. And I really, really loved this one, the dynamics between Darcy and Georgie. And it was really just spectacular. So I love this series. Can't wait to continue on with Kate from the novel Nomad. It's been lovely reading through it with her. And then lastly, one that was such an unexpected delight, and this was 101 Dalmatians by Dodie Smith. I was going to read it for middle grade March, but I wanted a middle grade audiobook to have to read over the weekend before middle grade March started, and so then I just accidentally finished it because it was not long at all. I think it's like 3.5 hours or something. And it is just written so eloquently, so beautifully, and with such charm. And she makes these dogs, I am not even a huge dog person, and she just makes you love them. The personalities that she gives to them and the voices that she gives to them. And I really enjoyed it. It had such a charm to it, similar to me to The Wind and the Willows, and also the Paddington books. I think if you like either of those, this is definitely worth checking out. And it also, what's interesting to me is that there were a lot of changes made from the Disney cartoon, or rather, the Disney cartoon changed a lot of the details that is in the book. So I did, on the first day of Middle Grade March, I watched the Disney cartoon, and it felt so different, but I think they're both splendid. Like, I loved the book and I loved the Disney cartoon. They're very different, and it's so fun to me that the differences, the different choices they made in the movie, I'm like, oh, that makes sense why they did that. It would be too hard to explain it. And so now it's just these two new pieces of art. Like, I already loved that cartoon, but I love it even more now. And it was just such a wonderful, warm, just life-softening reading experience. So what is fun too is that it ends on Christmas Day. So I think possibly for the Kindred Spirits Club, I might host a read-along in December of 101 Dalmatians. I think that would be fun. So yes, that is all of my reading for the month of February. Thank you as always for watching, and I will be back with another video soon.